alaikum. One of the biggest challenges that we as parents are facing lately is the screen time. I get asked a lot, how can I control screen time? My children want to be in front of screens all the time, whether it's television, video games, mobiles, tablets, and they don't want to do anything else. Also, the worries about social media, what they're exposed to, how much time they're spending on it, when is the right age. Now, I agree, it's a very challenging topic. It's not an easy thing. We didn't have these things growing up, so we don't even have a reference to see what our parents were doing, for instance. It's something we are learning as we go with them. So let's start by saying that the effects of screen time, if it's more than the average that a child needs to watch, can have very harmful effects. Everything with balance and in moderation could be good and helpful. There are definitely good benefits of getting exposed to different sources of information, getting to connect with others, learning about the world. But at the same time, everything needs to be in moderation. What we need to know about screen times is that it can have negative effects, like we were saying, on children, especially if it starts at a very young age. We try as much as possible to avoid any source of screens before the first 2 years, because the research tells us, of course, there are personal differences between all children, but if the child has a potential for any problems, it can affect the language development, the brain development. It also distracts them from learning social skills and experiencing new things and connecting with people. So we try to postpone the exposure to screens as much as we can. I know it's sometimes a savior for parents to get some time to do things or get things done. Yet, as much as we can, we try to start allowing screen time after 2 years. After we allow it, it still needs to be for a limited amount of hours. You as parents can do the research and decide as family what you think is appropriate. But at the same time, in the end, our kids need to learn what's our rule at home about screen time. Because the fact is, screens are addictive. Video games are addictive. Social media is created in a way to be addictive. They want us to spend more time on them. So unless I have a limited time or I know how much time I am allowed to spend on screens, if I have access to them as much as I want, by time I will not be interested in doing anything else, as long as I have the option on being on my mobile or on sitting in front of the TV or playing video games. I would do it for hours and not get enough. It's created in a way to make them feel that they would never get enough. So, as we would discuss any topic, first of all, we need to show our kids our understanding to how hard this might be. That they want to be like their friends, that they're missing out on opportunities if we decide to make social media, for instance, at a later stage, because we believe that this is what's best for our family and for our kids. So we need to acknowledge that this is going to be hard on them. They would be frustrated and they have the right to be frustrated, and we need to acknowledge that, not say that what's the big deal, don't copy your friends. We just say that it's hard, we know it's hard, we appreciate that you're accepting our values, we know that you would love to be just like your friends. This doesn't mean that we're going to allow them to do what we don't think is good for them, but acknowledging how they're struggling and how hard it is for them goes a long way. The next thing would be that we need to educate ourselves. If they are going to be using something that we don't know about, we need to explore it, figure it out, ask them about it, open it, have it on our mobile, learn about it, read about it, and it's okay to acknowledge that there will be things that we don't know about. Every week there is a new application that kids are using, so we need to accept the fact that we will not be knowing everything, and we are okay to admit that we don't know and we need to learn. And if they say, can I download this game, for instance, it's okay to say, well, I need to look it up first, I need to take a look at it first. So this is the second point, to educate ourselves. The next thing is to set rules, to have agreements at home. What's our rule about screen time and social media? Do we do it after we finish other things? Some families prefer to do it this way rather than setting a time limit. They put it as a priority that comes after you've finished your studies, after you've played outside or played sports, after you've spent time with your family, after you've done your chores. So it's more about keeping them busy, and that's a very important part. If I want them to have less time on screens, they need to create a balance between getting them engaged in activities and involved in activities and sports and play dates, and at the same time leaving time for them to have just unstructured playtime where they get bored and try to figure out what they want to do and create a game out of empty boxes. All these are very important skills that kids sometimes miss out if they don't have time to get bored, or if they are all the time preoccupied with playing the games and watching TV and so on. The next step would be, what are we going to do when these rules are not accepted or when this agreement is not accepted? We need to agree with them on consequences that we think are relevant and appropriate and would teach them to make better decisions in the next time. When it comes to things that have a bit of freedom, like using electronics and screen time, we need to help the child learn that we are there to help them in the process, because it's not an easy process. You are getting exposed to people that we don't know. We need to talk to them very openly on the dangers of that they might face on social media, starting from bullying, getting in contact with people who want to look up children and want to hurt them, material that they're inappropriate for them to be exposed to. We need to have these discussions with them and agree with them what they are supposed to do when they face something like that. We open a conversation, and when they come and talk, we need to stay calm and help them and acknowledge that they actually came and talked to us about what they saw. So we need to agree with them what these rules, what's going to happen when these agreements are broken. So for instance, they get to learn that we're helping them transition through their readiness to use social media, for instance. So at the beginning, if they're still young, they're not ready, and if they are not ready, it's not because we just said so, because there are a lot of dangers. We can help them see what can happen, and as they start, it's okay and it's important to be there with them. So it's not like we sneak after they sleep to see what's been happening. They need to know that we are aware of what's happening. We check after them, not because we don't trust them, but because we're helping them stay safe. And whenever we feel they're ready for the next step, we're going to take a step back. If we feel that they're not ready for this step back, we're going to get more involved again. So it's like thinking like trust and independence are earned. Whenever we feel you're ready for them, we're going to give you more space. If you're not ready, it's not because you're bad or that you're not trustworthy. It's because clearly you still need my help in this. So think of your role as guidance and help, that eventually they're going to be online on their own. So are they ready or not? Are they learning the skills for being online or not? Are they aware of the dangers or not? Are they open with you to discuss any dialogue that is happening? And at the same time, make sure that their life is filled with other things that they're valued, and their rules at home are clear about screen time and about the use of social media. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next episode.